Hey golfers, in this next video I'll be talking about beginner golf tips basics. Keep watching. Hi, it's Troy from hittingitsolid.com here. Thanks for watching. So I'm talking about beginner golf tips basics. Now these are 4 things I wish I was shown when I first played golf. They would have made a huge difference in my golf game. I'm going to share these with you. They will work for your irons or your driver and will help you play fantastic golf. Even if you're just a beginner, maybe even been playing for a few years, these will help you out. Now, very quickly before I get started, big thanks to my new sponsor, Echo Golf, make these fantastic golf shoes. Make sure you check them out, link in the description. Let's dive in. Okay, the first tip I'm going to give you revolves around your setup. And this is something that I know Ben Hogan has mentioned in his book, The 5 Golf Lessons. This is a real key to playing fantastic golf. So I want you to grab a club, get into your setup. Now, where most golfers go wrong, whether beginners or someone that's been playing for years, at their setup, if you see I'm set up to a ball here, my elbows at present, they're pointing, right elbow is pointing behind me and the lead elbow is pointing this way. Now the problem with that in your setup is it's very easy as you start your takeaway for the elbow to pull the club in behind you. I'll show you from this angle here, and it can get you off plane in your golf swing. You can see here with the elbows, it's just naturally the way they fold. If the elbow is pointing away from me here, the elbow, it bends this way, and the same with the left elbow at the front. So it's very easy to pull the club inside, get into an awkward position, you get disconnected with the upper body, the arms and the shoulders and the chest get disconnected very quickly by having those elbows pointing out at address. So a simple fix to that, grab a club, get into your setup. I want you to get these elbow pits here pointing forward at address. I want them nice and relaxed. I don't want a lot of tension there, but I want the elbow pits pointing forward. And what that does is, as I make my takeaway, it enables the elbows to hinge up naturally, and I can make a pretty good backswing just by having those elbow pits forward. That'll mean your elbows will be pointing towards your body. It's a great way to stay connected with the arms and the upper body. It helps you keep the golf club on plane. If you have a look from this angle here, if I have those elbow pits facing forward, I can rotate, keep the club on plane, let them hinge up naturally, get my golf swing off to a great start. The next tip is for your trail or your right leg in your backswing. When I first started playing golf, I was always told to shift that weight to the rear side, which is very important. But in an endeavor to do that, I ended up shifting too much weight and really swaying and sliding off the golf ball like this, which is where a lot of golfers go wrong today. The further you move this way, the more difficult it is to get back to the golf ball. It's much more efficient to make more of a centered turn. So to do that, what you need to do is focus on this trail leg moving back rather than this way to the right off the ball. So it looks something like this, in that back position there. And you'll be able to make a much more centered turn, get a much more efficient rotation as well. From this angle here, you'll see the right leg will straighten. It won't lock out, but it will definitely straighten a lot more. Be able to rotate better and make a much more efficient backswing. My next tip is shallowing out the downswing. This was never showed to me, never spoken about when I first played golf. It's obviously talked about a lot today, but it is super key. If you're a beginner, even if you've been playing the game for years, you need to know how to shallow the golf club. So, top of the backswing we go. Now when you get into this position here, there's a couple of things you need to remember to shallow. The first one is you need to bow that lead wrist or get it into flexion like this, turn it this way. The other thing you need to do, so that's the first thing, you'll see when I bow it automatically shallows that shaft out and it gets it going through right on top of that right forearm for a right-hander. Now the other thing you need to do is have that trail shoulder externally rotate. We don't want to be doing anything like this, getting the club down really steep. Want that shoulder to be working more down like that, more externally rotating. That will make it easier to shallow as well. So there's two keys here. As you get to the top, we're going to bow that trail wrist. We're going to get external shoulder rotation. Shaft will shallow. You'll also square the club face easier. And we're going to get into a nice impact position like that. So shallowing out the golf club in the downswing is a must key for all golfers. How the pelvis moves in the golf swing, for me, is so important. I wish I was shown this when I first played golf. It would have saved me a lot of heartache. So the pelvis is this area right above the hips here, and it is so important to keep that pelvis back in your golf swing. Helps you stay in posture and play a lot more consistently. So here's what it looks like. So with most golfers, where they go wrong, they get to the top, and instead of staying down in their posture, they lift up, get onto their toes, the shaft gets very steep, and it brings into the toe shots, a lot of fat shots. You'll get a steeper shaft, a lot of inconsistencies. What I'd like you to do is when you get to the top, is really feel like you sit down and get that pelvis back as you shallow out that shaft, and you'll get into a much better impact position here. This is important in the backswing, making sure you get it, have that pelvis sitting back, and on the downswing even more important. Keeping it back, staying in posture, keeping that pelvis back. And you can improve this from inside your house at home. Just practice with your butt up against a wall or a chair. Even in the backyard, put your butt up against the chair, making golf swings. Keeping that pelvis back is a real key to playing more consistent golf. Now, really important coming up, I've got a video that talks about golf weight shift versus hip turn. This is another important beginner golf swing basic that will help you play a lot more consistent golf. So that video is coming up, make sure you watch it. Do you want to know how to make an even better golf swing? Click and watch the video on your screen now. It's going to go into more detail about golf weight shift versus hip turn, which ties in really well with this video to help you make a great golf swing. If you want to know how to play even better golf, consider subscribing to the channel. And remember, if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I will get back to you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.